Hello everybody, welcome to Introduction to Language and Linguistics. So in today's unit, I'm going to talk about phonology. So phonology is a rule for sound patterning of system of language. So which means it is a study of how speech sound of language are used to form the meaningful units. Meaningful unit mean words because word is the unit that has meaning. That's why we call it meaningful. So in phonology, we look at sound like phonetic, but the difference is that phonology, you look at the sound pattern, you look what kind of system we use to pattern these sound, we use to pattern the single sound to form the word and how it show the meaning. Also, we're gonna look at the relationship of the sound with other sounds around that. So we won't look at just one single sound like phonetic. In phonetic, we won't analyze about the meaning of the sound. We just do care about how to make that sound, just a single sound, which is not what we do in phonology. In phonology, you look at the pattern. You look how we use each sound to form the pattern, to form the word. So in phonology, we can divide it into 4 branches. The first branch is diachronic phonology. The second branch is synchronic phonology. The third branch is segmental phonology. And the fourth branch is suprasegmental phonology. In this class, we are going to focus only segmental phonology and suprasegmental phonology. Just to give you a brief overview about the 2 branches that we won't talk in this class. So diachronic phonology, it is the study that we look at the sounds changing. So we're going to look at the past time, how we pronounce this sound, and in the present time, how that kind of sound change. For example, in the past for this word, we might pronounce it as knight. So the K sound is not disappear. But nowadays we pronounce it as night without the appearance of the K sound. This is the diachronic phonology if we look at the changing through time. But the synchronic phonology will look at the sound just at single time. For example, the word rent, we have rent, n, t at the end. So we might look at the sound n, t, that okay, the sound n and t can occur at the final position. Will it be able to occur at the first position? Or we might look at the s sound as the word dogs and cats. Why in the word dog we pronounce it like dogs, like the z sound, but in the word cats we pronounce it like sound, it's like voiceless sound. So we're gonna look at this difference. Okay, let's move to segmental phonology, the branch that we're going to study in this class. So I would like to introduce you the 3 terms: phonemes, allophones, and minimal pairs. So if we look at segmental phonology, what we are going to describe is that the word segment refers to any distinctive unit that can be identified. Distinctive unit means that the unit that has different sound. So we're going to look at different sound that we can identify, that we can hear. So the first one, phoneme. So in your book, you might see the word phoneme, you might see the word phone. Both mean sounds. But phoneme is a sound that can affect the meaning. For example, the sound s and z. These are 2 different phonemes. Why? Because we can use to coin these 2 words, zip and zip. So the word zip and zip, it comes from different phonemes. Zip comes from phonemes and zip comes from phonemes. Since it comes from 2 different phonemes, we have 2 different meanings. The word zip means to drink water and zip means like the thing that we use in our clothes. Since the different sound affect in different meaning, we're gonna classify it into different phonemes. Another example, so to be clear again, different phonemes mean different meanings. So another example, if we are at the hospital and we have 2 physicians, the first one named Mark Brown, the second one named Mary Brown. One day, there is a letter. In the letter, they wrote that, "Dear Dr. M. Brown." So we don't know M. Brown is Mark Brown or Mary Brown. So someone might ask, who's that physician? If I answer that she is with the sound sh, so you know that she is gonna refer to Mary Brown. But if I answer that he is, so he, the sound h, gonna refer to Mark Brown, this guy. So the difference is that if you look clearly, the range of the sound is similar, it's totally similar, but different is the sound h. and sh. So the sound her and sh gonna affect different meaning, different person. If the sound her mean like the guy physician, the sound sh mean the woman physician. So if I change the sound from at first I said she is, so if I just delete the sound sh and then I use the sound her instead, so it won't mean Mary Brown anymore. So you're gonna change the meaning into Mark Brown. So her and sh are two different phonemes. Since it's two different voice, it's two different sounds. So and it also affect different meanings. So we're gonna categorize it into two different phonemes. And the next term is allophones. So allophones is two different sounds like phoneme, but the difference is that allophone won't affect in changing meaning. If you use two different allophones, it still occur in the same meaning, but it might show your accent. An example, let's imagine if you are in London right now and you would like to go for shopping, and then you meet the couple. You ask the girl that, how can I go to Harrod? So the girl answer you that, second left, and then
right.
okay, I cannot do it. And maybe the guy gonna answer you that second left and then
right.
oh my god. You might notice that the word right that the girl pronounce is
Right.
and the word right that the guy pronounce is
Right.
so you kind of hear some different in pronunciation of the R sound. So you might be able to tell that even though it's two different sounds
Right.
and
Right.
but it won't affect in changing meaning. It still means the right way. So right and right are two different allophones under the same phoneme. So allophone means different phones, different sounds that we're going to group it as the same phoneme. For example, the word right, like right and right. Right in British, right in Scottish accent. Both going to realize as the same phoneme, which are r. Also, another example like the word peak and speak. The word peak, we have the aspiration p, but the word speak, we have an aspirated b. So actually, for those who kind of make the wrong pronunciation in English, they might pronounce the word speak as speak with the aspirated. Even though they pronounce it as speak, but it won't change the meaning. It will show the wrong pronunciation or maybe the non-native pronunciation instead. We can say that p and p is two different allophones that belong to the same phoneme p. Another example, so when I started learning English, I used to pronounce this word wrong. I used to pronounce it as spring by using the p, the aspirated. But actually, the correct way to pronounce it is spring. But even though I pronounce spring, it won't change the meaning, but it will show my wrong pronunciation instead. But if I pronounce the word spring with different phoneme, for example, I pronounce it with b, so it's gonna be string. So third here affect different word, different meaning. Instead of the season spring, it's gonna be string. We can say that t and p here is two different phoneme, but p and p here is two different allophones that belong to the same phoneme p. So to sum up again, phoneme are different sounds and phoneme can change the meaning, but allophone don't change meaning. Next, we are going to talk about the distribution of sounds. So distribution of sound talk about the position of the sound can occur. So we have two position, two ways that the sound can occur. The first one is complementary distribution. The second one is free variation. So let's look at the complementary distribution. Complementary distribution, it is the set that if you have this group of sound, the sound apart from this group cannot occur in the same position. For example, you have first position, the second position, the vowel, and the final position, and then you have the group of sound and then another group of sound. Just this group of sound can occur in this position, so it means that other group of sound like this cannot occur in the same position. So the example of complementary distribution can be found in aspiration. For example, spring. The aspirated sound can occur only when it is the second position. So spring here should be for the aspirated only, but if I use spring with the unaspirated, which is not the place for unaspirated, so it's gonna affect in wrong pronunciation. So this is an example of complementary distribution. To sum up again, complementary distribution is that you have a group of sound and then the sound apart from that group cannot occur in the same context, the same position. Next, free variation. Free variation explains the position that two sounds that are different from each other can occur in the same position, the same context, the same phonological context, which means the sound can substitute for the other and they are said to be free variation. And the next terminology is minimal pairs. So, minimal pair, we look at the phonemic contrast. Minimal pair is just a system that we use to differentiate two different phonemes. So, what we are going to do is that we are going to put it into the identical context. We're going to put it into the same context, into the same string of sound, but gonna be just one sounds that are different from each other. So, which is the sound that we test? If the difference of that sound affect in meaning, it is minimal pair and there are two different phonemes. The example of minimal pair is that the first one, zip and zip. As you can see, the word zip and zip are minimal pair because it different just one single sound, which are s and z. And as you can see, the rest of the context is identical. And if it's different in consonant, another pair should be consonant as well with the same position. And also sheep and sheep. Sheep is long vowel, sheep is short vowel. So if we transcribe sheep E and sheep E, so it's different vowel and vowel and the same position. So sheep and sheep can be said as minimal pair. However, can you tell me whether this one is minimal pair or not? The word this and that. This and that isn't minimal pair. If you see E, R, Z, T, is different. So it cannot be minimal pair since it's different more than one single point. Let's see some example. B, beach, T. Which one is minimal pair? So the minimal pair is B and T because beach is not minimal pair for either B and T. And then we can say that B and T, the difference is B and T. And then we transcribe the B and T. So B is voiced bilabial plosive. T is voiceless, aspirated, alveolar plosives. So there is the first difference is voicing. The second difference is aspiration. The third difference is the place of articulation. So we have three differences between these two sounds. The next example is sheep, deep, whip. Which one is minimal pair? Sheep and deep. So if we can see sheep and deep, the difference is just sh and d. The rest is the same. And then we transcribe sh is voiceless alveopalatal fricatives. And there is the voiced alveolar plosive. So we can see the difference. The first difference is voicing, voiceless and voiced. The second difference is alveopalatal and alveolar. It is the place of articulation. And the last one is manner of articulation is also different.